Like, what do you think about climate change? Anyway, I watched or listened to a podcast yesterday that was awesome. It was so informative. There's this podcast that this couple do. They're a couple of biologists, I guess. They're the most subdued, boring people, but their podcast is so informative, and they actually are. They're just easygoing people, but they're so smart. They examine like current issues that are going on all the time in science, and the name of the podcast is the Dark Horse Podcast, and it's with Brett Weinstein and his wife Heather Hang. They came into some fame, I think, in the late 20 teens for a bit of a fight or resistance to the woke movement, and like they were canceled and all of this, but they're still doing this podcast. And yesterday they had this most interesting episode about climate change. I don't know what you think about climate change, but it feels like it's real, and it's hard to get accurate information, I find, on like it's skewed one way or the other. It's very dramatic, and it's all of our fault, and it's only people that did it, or that there really isn't even climate change to discuss. One channel, it says it's this, and if you watch another channel, it says it's that. And their podcast yesterday was about a study. I don't think that, well, I didn't know about it. Like, not that I'm a science nerd or anything like that, but I try to stay in tune. Like, I listen to this podcast. This study is been put together, and it reviews the way that they've been studying climate change. Some of the other, not some of the other factors that would, you'll kind of just have to watch the pod or listen to the podcast. But like one of the factors that we're discussing there, because it does feel like climate change is a real thing. Like, to me, it feels like weather is different than it used to be. This weekend even is an example of that. We didn't used to get hurricanes in Nova Scotia like each fall. Didn't used to. And the way that it rained this summer, and before that we had forest fires. Like, so we had biblical times here in like East Coast Canada. Strange weather, it would seem. Do you find they discuss the way that climate change has been studied, and maybe some of the holes in the modules that they follow in doing that, and some other factors that could influence climate change? There was some confirmation bias in this piece for me, because like I've always thought, like, okay, like you've got the moon and the earth, and the moon goes around the earth, and the earth spins, and that's our like days, and we go around the sun at the same time, and that's our years. And there's other planets like a solar system, whatever, that there's got to be like some like going on, like over not day to day, but over time, in the everything's so big. Anyway, just the way that my mind thinks, it's always occurred, because that's what, like, why we have summer and winter, right? Like, we're different distances from the sun, and like every year it's wouldn't necessarily be the same path. And then like spin a penny, like do that with a penny and see all the different ways that it can spin. Like, anyways, I've always thought that could be a factor in climate change, like and it's really hard to measure, because like it's the sun getting bigger, smaller, and everything is so big to measure changes, like marginal changes. They're probably getting better at that, which I'm sure they are, but anyway. And this is introduced in this study as a major factor. Another major factor that just we probably wouldn't think about is, and these studies took place over the last 150 years, 175 years. Over that time have, the population of the world has increased so much. Like, you know, like I remember like when I was in elementary school and the population changed 5 billion people. At the end of the study, they pretty much are like hands in the air. We don't really know because, like, is it all just oil? It probably is a big factor, but is it all oil? Probably not. Like, are we further from the sun, closer from the sun? Is the sun bigger, smaller, whatever? All of these things. And so when you flip on, you know, one television channel and it's saying that such polar sides, it's got to be somewhere in the middle. Anyhow, that's pretty much all I've got to say. I think that people should check out this podcast. They will inform you if you're looking for like boring science stuff.
By mainstream climate scientists as trivial and contributing to our understanding of.
They're definitely worth checking out.
On what basis?
Give them a little push,
areas,
like
rather than from the urban-rural mix. That pretty much all.
So I don't know if you guys can see any of that, but subscribe to their channel. Do that. Subscribe. I guess I should too. I listen to them on podcasts. I don't watch them on here. We'll know for next time. Anyways, guys, that's it. Climate change. What do you think? Comment. All right. Good luck with the storm tomorrow, everybody. I think it's just going to miss most of mainland Nova Scotia. Hopefully, fingers crossed.